I am Emily, and I'm here to talk with you about postpartum care and support. I'm not doing a live video because my babies are actually sleeping right now. So feel free to comment throughout the video, and I will talk back with you as we go, as it's posted. We can pretend it's live. Anyway, okay, Bethany asked me to talk today because I've had two very different birth experiences. A little bit about me. I've been using oils for almost 3 years. I have 2 kids. Chester is 2 and Coralie is 8.5 months. So they're very close in age. And the whole reason I even got into oils was because I had found out I was pregnant with Winchester and that I wanted to make sure I had tools in my pocket for the winter season. So, all of that to say, my different birth experiences are with Winchester, I had a C-section, completely unplanned, unexpected. With Coralie, I had a VBAC, unmedicated, all-natural vaginal delivery. So it is okay, first of all, to have hope and dreams for your birth, the birth of your baby, this huge life-changing experience you're going to go through. It is also really good to have flexibility. I am very type B. I am very, I can go with the flow, I can adapt. Things like that are good in the case of birth and flexibility. My mom would even tell you that. So I knew that if I had a C-section, there would be certain things I wanted, like still skin to skin and all that stuff. So I was still kind of preparing for that possibility, but really hoping for a natural, unmedicated vaginal delivery with my first one. My water broke, and then 28 hours later, we had a C-section. He just was not moving in his station. So after Pitocin, after fentanyl, after, a birthing ball and squats and walking and showers and everything that we could think to do to help move him down, it wasn't happening. So all that to say, my OB felt like I would be a good candidate for a VBAC, and so did my current provider and myself. More people are candidates for VBAC than they realize, and if you have questions about that, I'd love to talk with you or point you to an organization that has lots of information on that. Anyway, after Chester, what did I do for that postpartum care after a C-section? I knew we wanted more babies after him, and so I knew I really wanted a VBAC, so I needed to really support that area and the coming together of your nerves and your skin and your muscles and everything that has to regroup and reconnect and be supported. So I used a ton of, frankincense. Frankincense is my friend, guys. It is a great support for the healing of that area and to support good skin tissue. And it's not a vanity thing. Who wants a scar? But really it was about being able to have more babies safely. So there are massages you can do on your incision. I was like, I'm not touching it. I don't want to touch my incision. I don't want to see my incision. So God bless my husband. For the first week or two, he would put frankincense and gently, it's pretty numb when you have an incision like that at first, but gently rub it in and probably like twice a day. And so that was really good. I know that helped. I know it helped heal it. I know it helped bring everything together. I know it helped support some scar tissue and stuff like that. And then, weird. I had a random pain, tenderness, stinging, numminess between my belly button and the incision. I know other people have had it. I didn't know this was going to happen, but it did. So I had Panaway. Panaway was my friend. I would just put it on there and, oh my gosh, immediately take care of it. Panaway is also great for your muscles when you're learning to nurse because you tend to tense and hold the baby weird and you don't know what you're doing and now your shoulders hurt. Rub some Panaway in. Also wanted to say, if you know you're having a C-section and you can plan ahead because you have a condition or whatever, I highly suggest getting maybe geranium and hyalochrysum too to support your skin. I only had frankincense because that's what I had in my starter kit at the time. So I wanted to suggest that. I had totally normal baby blues after Winchester. It's a completely normal thing to have, especially when you had hopes for something and you were on this high and you didn't get to really, anyway. Let me start over. When you have a baby, you're on a major high for a while and then your hormones drop off and you can go through baby blues and mood swings and stuff like that, and which I totally did. So I used some Joy in my life. I always loved to pair this guy with grapefruit. Joy was not my favorite when I had my starter kit, but it became a favorite on days that I just needed some oomph with Winchester. And to spend that time with him, and it totally helped. So I just totally suggest Joy. Maybe some Surrender, Trauma Life, things like that would be really helpful. So also wanted to talk about lemon. After Chester, my skin was super dull, so I did a lemon sugar scrub at night. If you're planning on sunbathing, don't use lemon in a sugar scrub. Also, if you had a C-section, you just had a ton of antibiotics hit your system and your baby's system. I strongly suggest probiotics to help bring your gut health back in balance. And obviously eating a healthy diet, a balanced diet. I know Eli's going to touch on that. And guys, rest. On one hand, you've got to walk every day to help heal and support and restore that. On the other hand, you need to not overdo it. Trust me, 4 weeks later, I overdid it. Oils were awesome. So, oils for emotional health for me were Joy. Had I had some other ones, Surrender, Trauma Life, I would have used them. Okay, postpartum for a VBAC. So, first of all, VBACs are not as dangerous as they once were thought to be. The likelihood of a uterine rupture is super small. The likelihood of that being a catastrophe, even smaller. So if that's something that your provider thinks that you are a candidate for or you want to be a candidate for, talk to other providers. Guys, it is awesome. So for my VBAC, my delivery and experience with her was completely different. Coralie, I had contractions at home. My water didn't break until I was almost 9 centimeters. Pushed for 15 minutes, had a beautiful baby girl. I kind of had to deal with later, I'll back up in a minute, but later I had to deal with, I didn't realize that I had kind of some negative emotions surrounding my cesarean with Chester. I felt like I had a great birth experience. I felt like everything went well with him. Breastfeeding was well. My recovery was pretty well. So it surprised me after having Coralie when I went to talk about and write about my birth experience with Chester, how emotional I got about it. So Surrender was really good, even that much time later. So all that to say, during Coralie's birth, I used Peace and Calming, lavender, frankincense, Valor. Valor is your friend. I also brought to the hospital with me Ortho Ease this time. I got to experience some Ortho Ease before. I loved it. So with Ortho Ease, I thought I would want it for after a physical feat of having a baby. And I ended up using it in labor on my hips because they hurt. So using it to help those muscles. And then I used lavender on the tuck pads that the hospital provided. I didn't pre-make anything. I just took their little witch hazel tuck pads that are round, split them in half, did 4 drops of lavender, put it on 4 drops of lavender, used that, and I didn't do that till the next day. Guys, huge difference. Swelling, bruising, felt like I could be crazy. It was great. A big reason for me having a VBAC was to be able to play with Chester still and deal with him as I needed to. He was only 16 and a half months old. 2 weeks after we had Coralie, 2.5 weeks, we had a house fire, and that is a super vulnerable time for something that major to happen. Even if you don't feel like it's vulnerable at the time, your emotions are all over the place. Your hormones, maybe your emotions aren't, but your hormones are really trying to regulate. And having a house fire and relocating and all that kind of stuff right afterward is more than I thought it would be. So I would suggest at that point, again, Joy. Joy was so helpful. Inner Child, that is a great one. I also use Idaho Blue Spruce, Cedarwood, and Peace and Calming. because that was stressful. So if you have something that you know is coming up after you have a baby that's going to be big, maybe you have to return to work really soon, even if you love work. Maybe you have to go on some big trip. Maybe you're moving. Anything that's big and doesn't really seem like it, I would suggest having some oils in your arsenal to help support you through that time, even if you think, hey, I'm not going to need that, whatever. It doesn't hurt to have it. So guys, I hope that was helpful. I have so many random tips and tricks for people who are recovering from C-sections or vaginal births or whatever, but these are the tips and tricks I have with oils and how they helped me. Rest and good nutrition is absolutely important with it, so don't let that go to the wayside. And ask any questions below and I'd be happy to answer them.